Greetings, students. What we're going to be looking at today is we're going to look at the development of the democratic revolution in the United States from 1776 to 1840. And particularly what we're going to look at is the culmination of it with Jacksonian democracy, looking at from 1828 to 1840, looking at these three items here: idealism, sectionalism, and changing political conditions. For this video, what we're going to be focused on is the idealism aspect of it, and we'll look at other sections of Jacksonian democracy, the sectionalism aspect of it, and the changing political conditions. One thing I want to make clear with this video is we're not looking at Jackson himself, we're looking at the era of Jacksonian democracy. Particularly idealism, and specifically within this idealistic movement, we are going to look at the Second Great Awakening. So the Second Great Awakening is taking place roughly between the 1790s, late 1790s, and early 1830s. And it's going to transform the religious landscape of the United States. And basically this revivalist movement, the Second Great Awakening, which it basically was, it was a revival of evangelical Christianity from many different sects of Christian faiths, of Methodists, of Baptists included, that is going to really push the reform movements of Jacksonian democracy. So a lot of these revivalist meetings literally happened in camps. People would put up or makeshift stages where people would gather and check it out. Right here, what we have is a revivalist meeting in a Methodist revival meeting here, and you can see, if you really look at closely at the crowd, the people are carried away. Like right over here, this guy, you can see, is getting really carried away right here. He can't even stand up. He's just looking over. I can't believe what I'm seeing. You see just everybody else just kind of flying. This woman over here has got her arms raised up in the air. She can't believe what's happening, right? Everybody's just going kind of nuts. A very emotional experience for these people. And you look at the preacher right here, very dynamic, arms raised. You can get a sense that he's projecting his voice out, screaming out to his followers that they are going to go to hell if they don't repent. And what these preachers were basically, the sense of the ministry was preaching, basically there's two paths, right? You can go down this path here, right, which is skip church, right, go over here, don't listen to your parents, right, though, obedience, this is what this says here, is obedience to parents and teachers, truth, wisdom in the world. So you don't listen, you go here, you're having fun, cavorting, vanity. These are what gambling these are what these words say is what these people are doing, right? Lusting, sharing, disagreeing, right? And going off, and they're fighting over here, and they're going through life. Some of these people are even swearing. Oops, there goes my arrow. They're going down this path, and look, oh my gosh, they die, and then they're going to right? So that's how they would scream it out, right? Or you could take this path, the straight and narrow. Listen to your parents. Go to church, right? Go to college, the college, right? Be righteous, be pure of heart, have faith in Christ, have humility, and then you get to fly around with the angels and God above, right? The way of God and evil, this great circle is basically what this is saying. So two choices these folks are preaching at these revival meetings. And one of the largest gatherings for the Second Great Awakening was in 1801. This is what really kicks it off and just spreads it out throughout the United States. Is in Cane Ridge. It's in 1801, and thousands of people attend to this. It's said that 1 in 10 Kentucky residents were attending this revival here. And so there were other revivals before this, and there were large numbers, but nothing like this. This was a Burning Man show. This was a Woodstock show for this Christian evangelical movement here. And from that point forward, it spreads out. So these arrows here indicate how it's spreading out into other areas of the country and just goes from there. And what they are, again, what they are preaching this fire and brimstone. You better get on the right path or you are going to go to hell. So the evangelical fire reached such heights that one swath of western central New York State came to be known, this area, this part over, where would that be? This area right over here. This is known as this, where you see it kind of blocked out right here. This is the burned over district, right there. And what that means, that there were so many people in this area, all of them, in fact, had gone to so many revivals that there was nobody left there to save, right? They have all been saved. It's burned over. Nobody's going to hell here. And the guy who coins it is this guy right here, Charles Finney. Right? Charles Finney conducted his own revivals in the mid-1820s and early 1830s. He rejected the Calvinist doctrine of predestination, which was the doctrine that moved much of the First Great Awakening. And this basically says that there is no free will. History has been predestined. Those that are going to go to heaven are destined to go to heaven, and those that are destined to go to hell are destined to go to hell, right? So he adopts the doctrine of free will and salvation to all, and popularized the new form of a revival. He's a very charismatic individual, and since it's opened up to everybody, it is very appealing to people. What is really at play here is too that it is up to you, and if you aren't willing to take root of this opportunity that Christ and God have given you, then you are destined to go to hell, right? And so this is the foundations of the modern day evangelical movement that we have seen swept through the United States since really the 1940s to the present day. So why is the Second Great Awakening significant, and why is it significant within Jacksonian democracy? Well, what's going on is it's not a coincidence that the Second Great Awakening takes place right when the Louisiana Purchase occurs, right? So this is an era of great expansion, of more opportunities. This is the era of the first industrial revolution. And there's just a lot of uncertainty in the world. So people are looking for answers. And one of the things, going back to Charles Finney's doctrine, basically, this is a free will, this is a rejection of Calvinist ideas, is that people are beginning to look around, and they're not only looking at their own, basically, spiritual reform from within. This is the religious revivalism. People go, they see a charismatic preacher, and they're beginning to fix themselves. From there, they begin to look from without, right? And core to many Christian doctrine is this idea that Jesus is coming back. And what people begin to see a lot around them is, within this uncertainty, is a society that is becoming more and more detracted from the teachings of Jesus, right? So this is what's significant about the Second Great Awakening. These people who went to these huge revivals are going to get involved in a lot of the movements, what are known as the reform movements in the Jacksonian era. right? Social reforms and then redefining the ideals of equality. So you're going to have people get involved in the temperance movement. You're going to have people, which is to make alcohol illegal. So a lot of women got involved in this because of the ill effects of alcohol with domestic abuse. Business owners got involved in this as well, employers, because people are coming to work and they are hungover. And so maybe if we get rid of alcohol, this will fix up this problem, right? And so this is a movement that will last all the way into the 20th century, and finally we will get prohibition during the Progressive era. We're going to get asylum and penal reform, right? And so the way we are housing and treating our prisoners and the mentally ill, the insane, needs to be reformed. Basically, they were warehoused. Well, maybe there is a way that we can cure these people and treat them decently in a way we can. Definitely, this is the beginning of the abolitionist movement. The abolitionist movement is referring to a movement that wanted to end slavery. And out of the abolitionist movement, really, with Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott, Susan B. Anthony, you're going to get the women's rights movement, women working towards having women being able to legally divorce, being able to hold on their property that they brought into the marriage, having rights to their children, right? Before the women's rights movement really came in and the first wave of feminism came into effect, women were considered legally dead once you were married, right? And so this is going to address, and their biggest part of this movement is going to be the fight that begins in 1848 and goes all the way until 1920 with the 19th Amendment, which is gaining the right to for women to vote. Not giving women the right to vote, but they earn the right to vote, right? And you're going to see a movement towards educational reform, right? And so, again, this comes out of a sense that we've been heavily detracted from the teachings of Jesus. Jesus is probably coming back soon anyway, so we should probably make this place, this city on a hill, going back to the Puritans with John Winthrop. Should make this place a beautiful place, so when Jesus comes back, we will be welcome. We will be able to welcome him, and he will welcome us, and we will be able all to go to heaven together on that straight and narrow path. Well, thank you very much. Make sure you do read the text to get a lot of the details for a lot of these movements. I go into great detail in the text for abolitionism and women's rights specifically. So do take a look at that in answering this particular learning objective. Talk to you. See you later. Go forth and be great. Do email me if you have any questions or concerns.
A little while this afternoon on the 18th Amendment. The Prohibition Amendment is the most popular thing, my friend, in America today. What means this is all against the 18th Amendment and the Constitution? It's an attempt on the part of the old brewers and the old distilleries and the old saloon keepers and the old bartenders and the whiskey politicians and newspapers to bind and rivet, my friends, the breweries around the neck of the American people again for their own profit. Their arguments against prohibition are as weak as soup made out of the scat of a chicken that's starved to death. When you compare prohibition at its worst with the saloon at its best, prohibition's a million times better. And the ills you would fly to by repealing the 18th Amendment are 1,000 times worse than the ones you'd fly from by leaving it, my friend, as it is. Oh, I know that great anti-prohibition volcano in the United States, aroused and directed by the enemies of prohibition and Americanism, is vomiting both the political lavin and corruption in a current that's broad and deep and wide and sweeping with frightful destruction over our land, and bidding fair to leave no office, shop, store, factory, farm, school, or college that is not starred by its damnable blight, while lighting upon its bosom like the demons of hell are the political enemies, taunting and sneering and jeering at those that dare resist its damnable blight. I may be crushed by it, but bow to it I never will. Oh, history tells us many free countries have lost their liberty. America may lose hers. If she does, my proudest boast will be not that I was the last to desert it, but that I never deserted it. There's no neutral ground in this track. It's war to the knife and knife to the hilt. I absolutely refuse to vote for any man, for mayor, for governor, for representative, for senator, or for president who is hostile to and will not openly support the 18th Amendment or all other amendments, no matter what political party. No matter what political party he may belong to, it will not openly support the 18th Amendment or any other amendment of the Constitution. Someone said to me the other day, oh, prohibition interferes with my personal liberty. Personally, every law in the statute book interferes with the liberty of the cook that wants to break it. It don't interfere with my liberty because I keep it. The shepherd tears the sheep of the wolf away from the throat of the sheep for which the sheep is thankful. And then the wolf complains against the shepherd for interfering with his personal liberty. Someone said to me the other day, oh, prohibition is responsible for the depression. Oh, the world, it's worldwide. Then if it's worldwide, what caused it in the other nations? What causes the depression in Germany? What causes England, where they've had 2 million men on dole ever since the war, and America's the only dry nation in the world? It's because the world is an inheritance from the war. That's why. Someone said to me, oh, prohibition makes bootleggers and slum runners and moonshiners. Oh, we had bootleggers and moonshiners when we were under the British flag. For 155 years, the Stars and Stripes have waved over America. We've had bootleggers and we have them now. Like a fellow wrote to a doctor and said, dear doctor, I had a wart on my face and it weighed 1.5 pounds. After taking 12 bottles of your medicine, my face is gone, but the wart is there yet. Well, the saloons are gone, the brewers are gone, the distillers are gone, but the bootlegger and the moonshiner, my friend, he's here yet in this thing. So said, well, we're drinking more whiskey and poison whiskey. If so, why is the death rate in America is less than it's ever been in the history of the United States? Oh, will briars and thorns and thistles cause the wheat fields to produce more and better wheat? Is the vegetable around good nourishment for a savior? Will a lightning bolt pull the tree in more delicate verdure? Is fire good, my friend, to increase the aroma and the beauty, my friend, of the rose? I said to me, well, they don't keep it, we'll repeal it. All right, then repeal the 18th of the 10 Commandments. They don't keep the 10 Commandments. They lie, they steal, they commit adultery, they murder, and yet you know without the 10 Commandments there'd be no civilization. You know that society, civilization rests on morals. Morals rest on religion. Religion rests on faith in God and in Jesus Christ. Over the Mexican border, 1,500 miles long, and the Canadian border, 3,000 miles long, and the Atlantic and the Pacific border, 5,000 miles long, and Cuba and Bermuda just next door, and the most thoroughly organized gang of thugs and the cutthroats on the hunger this side of hell. It's no easy job, I want to tell you. A leading lawyer in Chicago said the other day that 90% of the rum runners, the hijackers, the bootleggers, my friends, and the riffraff here, they are born of foreign parents, and that 70% of them have never been naturalized. I say deport every unnaturalized lawbreaker. I say take away the citizenship papers from every man that's been naturalized when he shows himself a crook, and on second offense, deport him also. America's going to be run by Americans, cross-pocket will. And whenever a man, I accept with him and stand with open arms, welcome any man from any country. But when they leave the foreign land and come to America to build homes and rear their families and live under the protection folds of the Stars and Stripes, they alter themselves in the land of their adoption. They leave their damnable alien ideas back across to see where they came from. America is no place for a dictator to live in. And there's no place beneath the Stars and Stripes for the arm that will not defend it and for the heart that doesn't love it in the world. No.
Billy.